started another row.
That's not Yalmar. Let's go.
I decided to make today's video on the School of the Bear. So this video is probably my most requested video I've had on this channel. People have been asking ever since I made the School of the Cat video, you know, can you do a School of the Bear one? And the reason I've been holding off on it is there isn't much information known about this school, even less so than the School of the Viper. Because this school was, like the School of the Viper, made by CD Projekt Red. And it was brought in like the School of the Viper. So, the Witcher School of the Bear is a relatively new piece of lore in the Witcher universe, as we can tell, it was added in the games. So we can just presume that like the School of the Cat, Griffin, and Wolf schools, they were just basically hunted into extinction during the peasant revolts that, you know, they thrashed many of the Witcher strongholds. So, from what we can gather so far, the Witcher School of the Bear practiced many of the ideals in the vein of the bear. So, what that basically means is that if you think about the animal of a bear, you know, each school basically tries to act as kind of like their chosen animal. So the School of the Cat's very sneaky, very acrobatic. The School of the Wolf is just is strong, but also fast, if you know what I mean. Whereas the School of the Bear would obviously just be incredibly heavy-hitting weapons and heavy armor. And we know this is the case, because as we play The Witcher 3 and we get the School of the Bear diagrams, we see that the armor is the heavy armor, and it is the heaviest armor set out of every Witcher school set. So we only know about one member of the School of the Bear, but I will talk to you all about that a little bit later, because for now it's a little bit difficult. We don't know where the School of the Bear is from. We can imagine they must have been a Skelligen school. It's also kind of believed, we don't know this for sure, but the members of the School of the Bear willingly seeked the Berserk curse willingly, which if you've played The Witcher 3 you'll know is the people that can basically turn into bears. We don't have much information on this, but we just can imagine that that's something that they would probably have done. So if you think about it, I did say that they are the more heavy users of the Witcher, but if you think about it, a Witcher is a Witcher. They're all really fast. So the School of the Bear just used heavy weapons in a fast way. Obviously, there's no way that they're going to be as fast as a Witcher with a light sword, but it's I suppose you kind of have to imagine it like this. Imagine that you have normal people, some that are better with weapons that are small and they can use them more quickly, some that use normal sized weapons, etc., like the School of the Wolf, and some that use heavy weapons. If you think about the differences between them, and then imagine that on another level, and that other level is Witchers, it's basically the equivalent, if you know what I mean. So it's difficult to explain, you kind of get what I mean. So that's about as much as we know about the School of the Bear's history. There is very little known on it because it was almost sort of made by CD Projekt Red. I'm not going to say at the last minute because that sounds a little bit, but it was obviously planned, but they didn't really make a backstory for it, at least one that they haven't revealed to us. Yeah, it was completely made by CD Projekt Red. It's not a book school, you know, like the School of the Viper and Manticore. So the main part of this video is I wanted to tell you the story of Gerd, who is a School of the Bear Witcher, and we don't know that much about him, but I can tell you as much as I do know. So Gerd was called to the Duchy of Arksey at the request of Helena Langhair, and by the way, I am terrible at pronunciation. I've said so many times, but just so you guys know if you knew. The heiress to the Ducal throne, and she wanted to remove her father from his usurped throne. Gerd, however, insulted the heiress by behaving rudely and turned down her offer. So, despite the many autocracies and deaths committed by this usurper, Gerd actually became in league with him and committed various crimes in his service. However, in a surprising turn of events, Helena managed to remove her father from the throne and issued a warrant for Gerd's arrest, with the amount of 300 Arcana dinars. Gerd quickly fled to the Skellige Isles and arrived on the island of Ard-Skellig. So I just want to quickly say before anything, I don't actually know if the School of the Bear originated in Skellige because we literally know nothing about it. I'm just going to say that that's an assumption because most of the diagrams are actually in Skellige. Well, I'm pretty sure all of them are, aren't they? I'm not sure. I think they are. Might be some of the low-level ones in, I don't know, I'm not sure, but are in Skellige. So you can just kind of assume that that's where they must have been from. So after he arrived on Ard-Skellige's shores, Gerd soon encountered locals pleading for help to deal with a dragon near some elven ruins. Gerd set off to the ruins and slayed the beast, smiling as it drew its last breath. A short time later, he was contacted by Jorgen Ironhand to kill a siren that had been attacking people in a cave in the northwestern part of Spike Rug. Gerd then sailed to Arn and Skellig and arrived at Fort Trusek on the first day of summer. His appearance there had brought much joy to all in the castle. He then met the Jarl of Anskellig, Torgeir the Red. Gerd quickly became friends with the Jarl, and after draining more than a barrel of mead with him, soon both the Witcher and the Jarl began going on hunts together and hosting feasts. Torgeir asks Gerd to rid a Striga that had made its lair in the ruins of Etnir. Gerd, who was moved by the Jarl's lament, accepted the contract, but explained that he must first complete his prior contract with Jorgen Ironhand to remove the sirens from the cave in Spike Rug. The Jarl then paid Gerd with a pouch full of coin and offered him the service of one of his men, Olven, who will act as a guide to take him to Spike Rug and, should the need arise, fight by his side. The Witcher thanked him and entrusted his dearest armour diagrams to the Jarl as a promise of his return. Gerd and Olven then sailed to Spike Rug after arriving at the Cave of Infestation. The sirens began to attack both the men, but were quickly shot down by Gerd using his crossbow before finishing them off. After their battle in the caverns of Melusine, they made their camp in the cave, but Olsen must have died before dawn, as a dead corpse remains there with a letter to one. Ingeborga, Caleb's daughter, admiring the Witcher's battle prowess that he'd copied Gerd's crossbow diagram with him. After bagging the contracted siren's head, Gerd headed off to the famous tavern near Fjundasdal on Ardskellig, when he collected his reward and spent the night there drinking, telling tales and playing Gwent with Jorgen and the innkeeper. He lost half his reward and his steel sword diagram from Gwent with the innkeep. Later that night, a knight from Arcia, Kalemir, and his men came for him in the inn and burned it down to the ruined inn that it is now. The Witcher escaped and went to the ruined fort Etnir to rid the Striga he was tasked to do by the Jarl of Arnskellig. His pursuers caught up with him, but he was able to kill all 5 of them, mortally wound the knight pursuing him, bring down the ruins of roof on them with magic. However, the Witcher then left behind his silver sword diagram that his pursuers found after he fled. Gerd soon returned to Jarl Torgeir in Anskellig, where soon bandits and Nilfgaardian bounty hunters paid by Nilfgaard besieged the Jarl's castle with catapults. Castle Tursek crumbled and fell into ruin, bringing down with Jarl Turger along with his men, with the Witcher Gerd included. So that's the story of Gerd, who's the Witcher that is actually the one that possessed all the School of the Bear diagrams, and you find them throughout the game and you read this story. I got all of that from a Wikipedia page. I will put it in the description to credit them, because it's very good of them to sort of get all the information from the games and put it there. It's quite interesting because this Witcher is more of a, I suppose you could say, a kind of disgraced Witcher. But he's like Geralt in a way, you know. It's like with The Witcher 2 where he chooses the Orveth path instead of Roach, etc. You could describe that as being disgraced. Maybe Gerd decided that the father would just be better for the throne. You can't really tell. It's a difficult one. But ultimately he does die. He was a male, if you haven't gathered that from me saying he. And he is currently the only School of the Bear member that we actually know of. It's a little bit difficult because this school was just kind of made. We don't know much about it. And personally, I would love a game where they maybe give us a School of the Bear protagonist, or maybe a School of the Viper antagonist, or maybe, you know, just something that could expand more upon these schools that they added, because then it would give us a lot better information, you know. I mean, CD Projekt Red have already stated that they're gonna return to the Witcher franchise at some point because they don't want to disappoint fans, so that could be a good way of them to return. I mean, honestly, the way I see them returning is either making a game with a set main character like they already have done, or possibly doing an RPG based one where you can make your own character. A little similar to Skyrim, but I suppose you could say more CD Projekt Red, so, you know, better characters, etc. And that's just my opinion. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult. That's about as much as we know about him. And that's about as much as we know about the School of the Bear. Just judging from the games, as I said, they use heavy weapons, etc. And it's a little bit difficult. We don't know their origins, and as I said, it's probably Skellige. So anyway, that's my video on the School of the Bear. I'll be sure to definitely try and do an updated video on this if any information is added, just because it's always good to update these types of videos, so be sure to subscribe for that. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. It's really cool when you guys like my videos, because then it lets me know that these are the ones you like. For example, my School of the Viper video got a lot of likes recently, and I realised you guys would like these videos, so I decided to rush the School of the Bear one. Not rush, but you know what I mean, like bring it forward in the old schedule. But anyway, you guys are awesome, and I will see you all later. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you guys are cool. Also, I say this at the end of every school video, but for anyone that's new, please tell me your favourite School of the Witcher, and I will tell you mine. I'll see you later.